Hi everyone. Welcome back to another episode of On the Boundary. Just two coaches chatting cricket. I know it's been a while again. Coach Harry, how are you?
All good, all good. Babara, festive greetings to you, my friend.
Yeah, it's that time of the year. They say we spend it with family. But Tina, as cricket people, we are spending this time hoping that we will make it to yet another final. I think we've been lucky in the last couple of years. World Cup 50 over semi final, T20 final. When only talking about the men, it even gets better when we talk about the women. But now we don't seem to cross over. But hopefully, if we do make it to another final this time, we'll be able to cross over, Coachy.
One hurdle at a time. We were semi-finalists for the longest of times. We've gone through to being finalists now. Let's hope this one is quicker. We cross over to making it through being champions.
Yeah, no, definitely, Coachy. Let's get to business. Series against Sri Lanka. I think that is where most people started believing that, you know what, we could actually make it to the championship final. I remember an interview they had with Ushukri Naye. He says only recently, going back to the start of the year when we sent what a lot of us called a D team to New Zealand, there were no thoughts that, you know what, we could actually make it to the final. But here we are, series against Sri Lanka. We go into the first test, we dominate Sri Lanka. We go into the second test. A few people were worried that we were going to fail to win the test, but we came up tops. What are your thoughts on that whole series that we had, the test series? Any major takeaways from you?
I think the most upfront one and the biggest one to notice is Captain Temba is back, and oh boy, he's back. He showed us why he has been our leading batsman for the past few years. Not just being leading because he's the captain, but putting the runs on the board. He did it again in that test series for us. Welcome return for the captain, obviously. But I just want to touch on that point on us sending that C/D team down to New Zealand. I think there's been a big misconception on why we did that. People are now saying that a team that disrespected Test cricket so much might make the Test Championship final. I think that's just a misunderstanding. It was situation and ask and CSA, I hear, asked to postpone that Test series because they need the money for or from that SA20. So they asked to postpone that Test series for a little later on so that they could send a team that was worthy of playing Test cricket in New Zealand or honoring that fixture. But New Zealand didn't allow us to postpone. So we did the best we could to send players that weren't involved in what South African needs. South African cricket needs that SA20 to keep running, to make these finals, because without that money from that tournament, we struggle to run domestic cricket, struggle to run the Proteas. So it was the best of the worst. We made the best of the worst situation we had. So just wanted to clear that up before we carry on.
Yeah, no, definitely, Coachy. I'm with you 100% on that. And you know what? What confuses me the most about this is a lot of the people that didn't understand are also South African. It's people who claim to care and love South African cricket, but they somehow fail to understand how important that series was for us, um, in terms of us not being able to send the team that we would have liked to send. Anyone who follows South African cricket will tell you now that we are seeing the rewards of all of that in terms of the pipeline of South African cricket now. There's an SA20 schools competition for both boys and girls. So the sacrifice is turning out to yield a bit of results, and hopefully it continues to do so, and we see our pipeline improving as time goes by. But yeah, for me, I don't expect other people from other countries to understand. It's always like this, and I'm okay with it. I'm just happy that our cricket is finding its feet. We are going to a place where our cricket is going to be in a really good position, which is a good thing for us. But yeah, apart from that, I think what you said about Utemba Bavuma, very important. I'm also was happy to see him scoring runs. I wish though he could add a few hundreds to that number of hundreds that he has. He always looks so good, and for some reason, once it crosses 60 or 50, something just changes. But I think my biggest concern at the moment is the injury list coaching. It seems like we are a man short every single day that goes by. Just recently, we lost to Otnil Batman in the ODI side. The Test side, we lost Gerald Kotsia, and he was replaced by Corbin. As a Titans fan, I want to know what your thoughts are about that.
Uh, for me, as you said, I'm a Titans fan, and I know what Coburn brings to the table. It's just that he, for me, I always want to pencil him in as one of those bowling all rounders lower down the order. So, and he needs both bowls to make team to make especially a national team. So if he's being picked as a bowler, I feel like there might be a few bowlers that are slightly ahead of him for me, out and out bowlers within the system in South Africa. I'm a big fan of his brother, Ethan Bosch. So, but I think he is a little ahead in the white ball stuff, even more than just the red ball. But as we keep saying with Shukri, we should just stop questioning him right now because he keeps making it work. He keeps making it work, no matter how illogical it might seem to some of you or some of us, but he keeps making it work. Coben, I don't feel is a bad player. It's just a shock pick for me. I feel like people like Bears, Swanepoel might be ahead of him in that bracket or that style of player that we're looking for down there. But Coburn's in the team now, and the fight that we know Coburn has and always has had. A lot of people forget that he was in that SA under 19 team and was one of the top performers in that SA under 19 team. Maybe he didn't push on to be as big as Aiden, as big as KG, but he's kept on turning out the performances. Maybe not loud enough for some of the fans, but he keeps playing for the Titans. He keeps batting down the order. He keeps taking wickets. So maybe that's where it's all come from.
Yeah, no, it's true, Coachy. I think ever since Coach Shooks was announced as coach, he's been making selections that many of us would call or would assume a left field, but as soon as that selection hops onto the field, then they perform, and all of a sudden everyone's quiet because they were questioning the selections and stuff like that. And I think we don't even have to look further away. Looking at the last test match, a lot of people were saying, no, we don't want Dane Pedersen. He's 35. He bowls 120 and stuff like that. Shooks didn't listen to any of that, picked his team, picked Dane Pedersen, and the rest is history, as they say. So yeah, no, I agree with you, and I think we need to give a lot of credit to Coach Shooks for what he's done with the test team. We need to give him a lot of credit for where we are in terms of our test cricket. I think he's brought in so much change, which is good change. I remember a while ago when I'm not going to mention the name of the coach, but many of us were complaining about how the team was had a template of winning that was not going to be sustainable. Coach Shooks came through, and you can see that changed. With regards to the selection, Cobbin, yeah, even for me, even for me, it's a bit left field. I wasn't expecting it. I thought it would have been someone else. I thought it was going to be Bayer Swanepoel. And as much as I thought he was injured, I just saw now he's playing for the Warriors. So it wasn't because he was injured. But then again, I sat down and I looked at the pattern that I've been seeing with Coach Shooks and the way he's been selecting his team. And I realized that Corbin actually has something that Bayers doesn't have, which is that extra pace. And Coach Shooks seems to he enjoys that extra pace. He prefers having that extra pace, which is probably why at some point he said he prefers Gerald Coetzee over Ulungi Ngidi. And I look back now and I sort of understand because Lungi doesn't bowl the same pace as Gerald anymore. So I think that is probably the major reason or the major difference between Ubeye Swanepoel no Gerald no sorry man Ubeye Swanepoel and Corbin Bosch, and I think that was the real reason why he decided, you know what, let me go with Corbin. And what I admire a lot about him is he doesn't listen to all the noise that we are making. Maybe he does listen to it, but he doesn't take it seriously. I think we've had selection panels before, and you could see that some selections were made because there was a lot of noise. But you look at how Coach Shooks picks his team, you can see that he's not paying any attention to the noise that we make, which is very important in my opinion. Um, and now going forward, when Coach Ara, in terms of the test cricket, I'm a bit worried about our batting. I know our batting has been an issue for a while now, and yes, it has gotten better. I think we've got eight hundreds that have come out of our top seven in the last I don't know how long, but it's not really the top seven because Vian Mulder scored 100 batting at eight if I'm not mistaken. So it's probably an 100 from our top eight. But I'm worried about David Bellingham. I don't know. I think I don't know. I feel like he's struggling to find the correct tempo in which he needs to bat because he comes into bat in different situations, and I feel like he's struggling to adjust. In domestic cricket, whether you're playing in England or you're playing in South Africa, you can get away with playing one way. You can get away with just coming on regardless of the situation, moving the ball. Test cricket, it's a bit harder to just not play to the situation. And I think that is something that he's struggling in terms of. What are your thoughts on David Barrett? I'm not calling for him to be dropped, but I'm saying I'm a bit concerned in terms of that. I don't know what you think about it, Coach.
Uh, David. A few shows ago, I think a few episodes ago, we spoke about the attacking flair of that middle order. Having Adrian at the top, if he's in form, very attacking. Spoken about Tristan Stubbs, spoke about David, and the fact that we even joked about the fact that you bowl it short, he will pull you, no matter if there's three back on the leg side. We say that tongue in cheek, but after that, he did it, I think, in one of the series, either in Bangladesh or early on in the Sri Lanka series, where he just keeps on attacking. As you said, it's a gears thing again. He's struggling to find his gear in Test cricket at the moment, and finding that tempo of how to go about it. Something that I'm very happy about Stubbs doing. He's found a tempo. I don't want to call it his tempo because I'm not even sure that is actually his tempo right now. but it's found a tempo that works. He bats well within himself. He he still is in the highlights reel, as we said. If you watch the highlights, you'd think his innings was run a ball or was very quick, because he'll come down the wicket, play his attacking shot, he will reverse sweep, he will sweep, he will come down, punch for singles. So when you look at the shots that he's played, he looks like he's very attacking. Tristan Stubbs, that is. But the dead bats in between, where he blocks the ball onto his feet, the leaves that he plays in between, are what I feel David doesn't know when to use at the moment. I won't say he doesn't have, because he can play forward defense. He does leave the ball, but the picking and choosing when to do, what to do, is what is hindering his progress at the moment. I also feel like the fact that that team is full of team men, so what the team needs, the team gets. Sometimes there was an innings in Bangladesh where he came and slogged 30, 40 odd very quickly. I felt that uh, someone struggling with form might have gone into their shell and chosen to score runs for himself rather than to do what the team needed. But what we said again about Shooks is making that environment seem to work. He's got a lot of team men. Maybe that explains his selections as well. We as coaches know that it's not always the best 11 players that make the best team. So Stokes is finding what the team needs and what is missing in the team, and that's what's working. Hopefully, David will turn the corner. We know he's super talented, and has shown it in the county series, shown it already for the Proteas when he started at international cricket. So we just hope him turns the corner, like the other guy opening the bats seems to be running away from the corner, but we need both of them to turn the corner, and that top six will be scary.
No, spot on, coach. We are going to a test series against Pakistan. We lost the ODI series against them. Did we lose the T20 series also? It was oh
We
yeah,
won the
no.
T20 series. We won one.
Yes, we won the T20 series, lost the ODI series. Going to a test series against Pakistan, we need just one win to make it to the championship final. But now here's the conundrum. Here's where Ushukri is gonna have a headache. Ryan Rickleton got into the team when Vian Mulder got injured. He was promoted to bat three, scored 100. You have Tony DeZosi batting at the top, opening, but also he hasn't been at his best. But he last scored 100, I think it's about 6 innings ago. You've got Aiden Makram opening with Tony DeZosi. Aiden Makram last scored 100. Aiden Makram last scored 100. I think it was 11, 11, 12 months ago. Yeah. Now, those are the three people vying for that, let's say, the top three. Do you go back to the all rounder or do you keep seven batters and four bowlers going into the test series against Pakistan? What do you do, coach? Remember, if
Uh,
if you say sorry, coach, if you say I am going back to having an all rounder at seven, you need to decide who sits out between the three because it's definitely not going to be Tristan Stubbs. It's not going to be Temba Bavuma. It's not going to be Kyle Verreynne. And I'd like to believe that it's not going to be David Bedingham. So if you're going back to that all rounder, now you must choose one between the three. And each one of them have scored 100 this year. It depends on when was the last time they scored that 100.
I think again, we know what Shukri really wants. And before we speak about people being in form, I think he wants Vian Mulder playing with Janssen there at the bottom. So, and with especially with the lack of bowlers going around right now, with all our bowlers getting injured, Gerald, Nandre, Lungi. So we we're looking, I think, at that seven being an all rounder. Hopefully, Vian is fit because there's a little doubt. I think he was penciled in next to Matthew Brishke for the squad.
It was just
So if he's fit and ready, I think he plays along with Janssen, KG. Now Kesh just got injured in one of these ODIs. Hopefully it's not too bad and he's back. And that sort of sorts out our low order and bowling lineup. At the top, I feel like uh, Tony hasn't done much wrong. Honestly, yes, he hasn't scored the big runs, but he keeps scoring the runs. And for an opening pair that's been struggling as much as they have, we'd say especially Aiden Markram has been struggling. They still get South Africa off to decent starts. I think we've had a few 50 partnerships, which is for the Aiden fans somewhat more frustrating than him getting out for three in the opening partnership being 10 or something like that. The fact that they build a few 50 odd partnerships, get the team going, and then lose their wickets is testament to the fact that they have done part of their job as openers. Yes, they haven't kicked on, which is what the numbers need for you as an opener. You need to be scoring big runs because you will get that good opening bowler on a hot streak with the new ball where you really struggle even if you are in form. So I feel Ryan Rickleton finally took his chance because we've been fighting for him, but he hasn't been scoring the big runs in the Proteas setup. But I feel he he might have scored it a little too late for the tinkering to be done just before that final series, before we go to the Test Championship final. So to not be political and just go at it, I think we stick with Aiden and Tony for now, and shift everyone back one up again. Tristan at three, Temba at four, David, who starting to get into that conversation as well of being droppable. David in at five, and then you get your keeper in at six.
Oh, no, I hear you, Coach Chara. And I think we will probably just talk about the ODIs on our next episode because I think we are not where we are used to be. So in network and stuff, because I'm also struggling with my network. But I think the last question that I have is at what point do you unleash Ukwena Mapaka with the Red Bull? When do you decide, Corey, you know what? It's time for us to unleash Ukwena and see what he does with the Red Bull.
Mm. Let's just ask a follow-up question there. Does Rizwan still play Test cricket for Pakistan? I think he wouldn't want Kwena playing. So, but I think Rizwan doesn't play Test cricket at the moment. But tongue in cheek, that I think Kwena is ready. It's just now about the balances and what the team needs. So if we're going in with four seamers, which would be the two all-rounders, KG, and then maybe we could throw in Quena with the spinner. I feel that is a possibility now. I think the only thing that might stop him is not him and what he provides or puts on the table, but the fact that we've got Dane Patterson now in that team, who's coming
Yeah.
off a man of the match performance.
True.
We've got Vian Mulder coming back. We've got Janssen who lengthens the batting lineup, also bowls left-handed and is 7 foot giant. So he gives us a lot of variety in that position. So even though I do feel Quena is ready, I don't think he's a shoe in at the moment, and we shouldn't be disappointed if he doesn't play any of these test matches coming through. But I feel like he's very close. He's now one of the next in line, and it will just depend on lineups and combinations and how we want to go into this games. So if we get a spicy one and think of not even playing a spinner, which I'd never do, maybe we play him there. But I think he's ready. I really think he's ready.
Yeah, no. I'm with you, coach. And I think what people fail to understand is, and this is something that I've always said, this is something that I've always spoken about. Selection is not just about who's better than who. It's about who fits in where and how the team, what the team needs. For me, yes, I'm a massive fan of Ukwena. Yes, I want us to unleash Ukwena, but I understood the logic behind Dane Pedersen playing the last game. You are going into a game with four specialist bowlers. You no longer have that all rounder in seven. You've got two guys who bowl 140 plus, who are strike bowlers. Strike bowlers sometimes are going to go for runs, and it's not even because they're not accurate or anything like that. Strike bowling goes in hand with a couple of runs. So you needed someone like Dane Pedersen who brings accuracy, who brings consistency in terms of his lines and lengths. You needed someone like that in the side to control the game when you need it to be controlled. But now, I think had Dane not taken the number of wickets that he took in the last game, the topic would be different when Vian Mulder is fit. Because if Vian Mulder is fit, it means now you can afford to have another strike bowler in the side because now your number seven is going to be that supporting seamer. Yeah. So and I think that's just one of those things that people fail to understand sometimes that selection is not clear cut. It's not always about who's better than who. It's about who fits in and stuff like that. But yeah, going into the series, how do you think we're gonna do? Your prediction for the series? For me, I'm saying my heart says 2-0, but my mind is saying 1-1. I don't want to listen to my mind for today. I'm gonna say we are going to whitewash Pakistan, and we are going to go to that final. In the it's going to be played at Lords. We are going to go to that final at Lords, even though I'm not going to watch it. What are your predictions, Coach?
Uh, I'm Shukri in throughout lately, so Shukri's got another 2 games to get us to the final. I feel like he's he's done enough already. But Pakistan, being Pakistan, can do the unthinkable every now and then. But I also believe in this test team, and I believe we'll wrap up the final in Centurion, and then the next game will just be for bragging rights and us winning the series. But I'm also going to know I'll be there for one of the days, at least, hopefully, fingers crossed, for that Boxing Day one. Try to get there 28th if I can. Watch a few games, I watch the boys live. So I'm quoting 2-0 as you are. What we just need is some runs from the batsmen. I'm looking forward to the top order finally getting runs. Top order being the top two because Tristan's fine. Maybe we also need some run from David. Get that top
Yeah.
six all ready for the Test Championship.
I'm not even going to talk about the final. I'm not going to ask you about the final. We will talk after the series. And if the stars do align, we might be able to try and record an episode where we are actually looking at each other. That I'm hoping the stars do align, because I will also be trying to go watch one of the days for that Centurion Test match. So yeah, we will see. It could be a surprise for our viewers. But yeah, for next episode, we'll be touching on the ODI team, because I feel like there's a lot that we will need to say about that side. There's a lot going on with our white ball, and it's worrying because we've got the Champions Trophy just around the corner. But yeah, we will talk about it some other time, Coach Ara. Other than that, I don't know if you've got any closing statements before load shedding hits me here.
Nah, nothing much. Let's keep enjoying the cricket, and Merry Christmas to those that listen.
Yeah, no. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to all our viewers. Thank you for always supporting us. We're hoping that next year you'll support us as we look to continue to improve, to teach, and to entertain everyone. Coach Ara, thank you for the episode. I know pulling this one off was a bit of a struggle for both of us. You know, if there was a behind the scenes sort of thing, maybe people would actually see the amount of trouble we had to go through. Even now, I've even had to tell people to stop washing dishes because they're making noise. But yeah, at least we pulled through. We were able to complete the episode. Please like, share, subscribe, follow, do anything, tell your friends, comment, ask questions. Yeah, and continue supporting us, continue liking our videos. And yeah, thank you so much. I hope we enjoy this episode, and we'll see you on our next episode on the boundary. Just two coaches chatting cricket. Cheers.
Cheers.